Ladies and gentlemen, holy Toledo, there's a lot of craziness happening in the market right now with a ton of buying pressure. Good for the longs and the bullish positions out there as the S&P 500 index is closing near that 6,000 resistance point, getting closer and closer there. It'll be interesting to see if that does get tested this week and what's going to be happening in terms of trading around there. What we do have is multiple stocks that are entering these breakout zones and are basically at their 52-week highs or their all-time highs. We're going to be breaking down some of the big things on the watch list, Palantir included. Let's talk about some of the details that we have today, what we're seeing from the media, and where Palantir could possibly be setting up for a bullish breakout here if it does have a nice close above its all-time high, if we see a push to 140. What we are seeing, though, multiple other stocks like Robinhood having a breakout, HIMS having a great deal that was established today. We'll be talking about that. So some of the big leaders in terms of the retail stocks. If you're new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos. Let's move on to 30,000 subscribers. Keep it going. Pop it up on the screen here. You can see Palantir closes at 133. Really good level for Palantir. Has been consolidating basically here in the 120s at these all-time high levels and has been cooling off, just building some support, which is great to see. You can see there is the resistance at around these all-time highs at that 133 and previously now at that 135. And Palantir is kind of sitting right around that zone. Where we see it specifically in the overnight hours is at 133.14, down 3 cents, so basically not moving at all. One thing that we are seeing from the media, talking, Arnie comes out here at this post, and I kind of like it, saying you're seeing a big push. Recently, remember, Palantir had established some more connections with the federal government, and we know their government contracts have been soaring, and this has really been a key leader, on top of their commercial sector, of course, on why we've been seeing a lot of bullishness into the stock, and this has really been helping to bring a lot of revenue into Palantir. With that, we saw initial optimism with the actual securement of the established, with the stronger connection with Trump and the establishments of more further contracts regarding Palantir and the federal government. That's what kind of helped push Palantir to this 133 zone that broke it out of this consolidation that we saw when it popped up and gapped up for just a little bit. Now what we're seeing here, the media is kind of coming out saying here, Palantir is creating this vast federal data platform, eyeing on millions of Americans, looking into their private life, building an unprecedented spy machine that could track Americans. That is the narrative that's being pushed across in the media right now. And Arnie's just coming out here and saying that Palantir doesn't collect data, and they don't do their own official data collection. They work with different companies, different agencies that have their data, and they try to bring different AI solutions to bring utility factors, to utilize that data, to optimize that data. And Palantir even comes out from their official X account saying here that the recently published article by the New York Times is blatantly untrue, saying that Palantir never collects data to unlawfully, actually surveillance Americans, and our Foundry platform here employs it says security protections. The facts were on its side, saying that the New York Times would have not needed to twist the truth. So you guys can all make what you want to make of that. It gets political, so I'm not really too political on here, but that is some of the noise that's being pushed on Palantir right now. But in terms of price action, we don't see that much of a reaction. We actually just kind of see it sitting at all-time highs right now. So that doesn't bring a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt for me personally. And the big question, with the stock, giving this volume back breakout above this pennant pattern right now in terms of a technical perspective, they say that possibly some analysts projecting a bullish target to around $220. Now that's a big jump. Not saying it's not possible over the long term. Definitely Palantir can climb up there to those high price targets. Looking at these support levels, of course, lower at 125, 97, and 83. However, I think Palantir, if we do see more bullishness coming into the market, S&P 500, healthiness there, call volume that starts to really start to accelerate, that's where I could see Palantir pushing into the 140, 150 zone. And we specifically look at the market, what we're seeing right now, a second day of gains. The market's opening up good for June, and specifically looking at the broader market indices, S&P 500 is at 5970 right now. So that test for 6,000 is right in the corner. We see the NASDAQ up about 0.8% and the Dow Jones even up about 0.5%. I mean, just look at this heat map down here, green across the board that we're seeing. And one big stock that did actually take a little bit of a beating that has a lot of optimism behind it on both bullish on CrowdStrike. They dropped about 6% here after the cybersecurity company posted soft guidance on revenue. I mean, for anybody that's long, bullish on that, CrowdStrike does, the cybersecurity, that's going to be an increased demand. That's just going to be increasing as technology is going to become more sophisticated, and even with the AI revolution that we're living through right now. So HP popped about 3% here after the IT company here topped analyst expectations. So solid sessions. We're seeing a recent comeback, a lot of confidence into the market. In terms of the trade kind of tariff headlines, we've not seen a ton this week. They've been kind of muted a little bit, and the market's been doing a good job pricing in, I think, some of the uncertainty that we're seeing around the tariffs, because we're seeing a lot of noise, or we're seeing these large, threats in terms of the tariffs, and they start being kind of walked back. And that's what we're seeing in terms of the taco trade that it's being called, the chickening out, that we have these large threats and then coming back to much smaller percentages in terms of tariffs. So we haven't had a lot of noise from that. So the market's just been able to operate and not really cause a ton of volatility there. And Tom Lee even agrees with this, saying that we're having a quiet week. The markets are rallying, and said on Tuesday during this closing bell, saying that I think the risk is now of a substantial leg up rally from here. So Tom Lee, typically always bullish, but just kind of reiterating that bullish sentiment. Earnings season is also continuing. We have Dollar Tree's going to be reporting tomorrow, but futures are just kind of hanging out right now. Let's get to the next stock here. Robinhood making some big moves. If anybody got in on Robinhood, I unfortunately did not to get in on Robinhood at an early time. But if anybody got on at Robinhood, they are absolutely soaring. Their platform is doing incredibly well. And their shares really climbed today after the trading app here completes Bitstamp deal, really getting involved with the crypto world. And as we know, Bitcoin's been doing astronomically well in terms of the regulation and bringing more crypto friendliness into the government. We've seen a lot of optimism, of course, behind crypto. We all know this. Bitcoin is doing very well. Robinhood, on the other hand, though, in terms of a platform, an investment platform, what it's offering, and for the younger generation growing up here, everybody's got a phone. Anybody can have ease and access to utilizing and picking stocks and trading, getting into trading, or even long-term investments. Robinhood offers that even with IRAs. So the fact that they have the infrastructure, they have a very, very clean user interface and user exchange is very attractive to the younger generation. And I think as we see a generational transfer here, I think the amount of users on Robinhood is going to increase. So not just crypto and, that's good for Robinhood. Robinhood's tied for crypto, blah, blah, blah. I think it has some association with it. The media, I think, kind of relies more on their crypto affiliation. But no, just in terms of a financial investment platform, Robinhood offers a lot of attractiveness, and we're seeing that in its price action right now, up at $72, 52-week high here. Robinhood has been on a run and doing very well. A lot of people calling here. We're seeing call volumes at the 73, at the 75s, even for July. Specifically looking at Robinhood, we could see breakouts that could continue depending on the market's kind of volatility and the conditions that we do have in the near future. But nonetheless, Robinhood doing incredibly well. Great to see. If you want to see more coverage on Robinhood, leave it down in the comments below. Let's talk about another big one, HIMS. This HIMS has been incredibly volatile here in the recent few weeks. HIMS to acquire this UK-based startup Zava as it expands international presence. Big winner for HIMS today. This is going to expand its customer base right here. And we saw HIMS that had some extreme volatility today. It rose 6.15% to $60 in the pre-market trading. Specifically looking at HIMS right here, HIMS was kind of sitting out here at this 56, had a pop-up. Look at these candle bars that gapped up here up to about 67, and then immediately comes back down to 54. So insane volatility. Huge run up right there, and you can see that got sold off right away. Lots of profit taking. It looks like people wanted a profit take right away and get out, and we see the sell off kind of back to where it's 54 sitting at. But nonetheless, this deal still happened with this recent agreement right here. This expansion with bringing a lot more customers to the table is a very big optimistic opportunity for HIMS. And some people, what we saw with the cutting about 4% of their workforce, there's some mixed opinions there saying, is that bearish or is that actually bullish because they're increasing margins, but still plan to hire for roles related to its long-term growth strategy. So HIM's just making some moves, I think, in my opinion, trying to stay on top of it, doing very well. This is a very volatile stock. So, of course, keep that with your risk appetite. Looking at some of the other stocks that we've been talking about, CoreWeave, I mean, gosh, this stock has been on an absolute ripper. Now, CoreWeave, yes, has NVIDIA support. We know building, trying to work on AI cloud infrastructure, being a leader in that. Also with Nebius right here, NBIS, trading at a much lower price. But CoreWeave has been on this absolute ripper. I think personally, I'll be taking a look at this, waiting for this to pull back a little bit before possibly looking at entries. Tempest brushed off that short report. Remember we talked about that a few days ago? Tempest was up here, had that short report, dropped it down here to 52. Dip was about back right away. This shows a lot of bullishness in Tempest sitting at 61.96 right here, kind of back in this consolidation period. So about a half for you guys. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.